nobody objects. So I did some training on my page about where stress comes from. Hi, thanks for joining. And basically that we have 3 different areas of the brain. So the first area that we have is the lizard part of the brain. And this is our fight or flight reaction. I'm going to share something now on the screen. Let me know if you can all understand my accent, by the way, or if I speak too quickly, or if I mumble or anything like that. I'm assuming my sound's okay. I'm trying to do my best. So this here, this is a guide I've made called the 3 Simple Steps to Feeling Like Yourself Again. And I'll share this with you at the end, but basically, when we look at what stress is, it's a reaction in the brain to a threat. Something's gone on, and that lizard part of the brain has kicked us into, oh, there's more people wanting to come in. I might have to start again for everybody coming. Hello, welcome. We've got a nice little crowd here. So I was just explaining that I did some videos before on my own page about this stress, this fight or flight reaction. Is everybody familiar with that? Has everybody heard of that before? Where something happens and your brain takes over, this lizard part of the brain, it takes over and decides, you know, am I going to fight or flight and try and survive? And this is somebody else. And this is the sympathetic part of our brain. So when we get into stress and we're afraid of something, there's a threat in our environment, you know, the blood rushes to our muscles, runs out of the brain and into our muscles. The hormones kick in just to try and get us to survive. Does that make sense? So I'm sure you've seen this before, and this is a very automatic thing that we do. I don't like just talking to myself. I'm going to unmute some people and see if anybody wants to join in, and I'll use the chat. Yeah, so does that make sense? So there's a fight or flight reaction, and when you are in stress, this lizard part of the brain, it takes over. Okay. I don't like this view. So what we can do to try and stop this fight or flight reaction that is automatic, this is the first step that we can do. The first thing is we can control it with our breathing. Our breathing is so much more powerful than what we ever really imagine, what we think. And that we can literally change this stress reaction by being able to control our breathing. And the way I like to do that, my most favorite technique, is called box breathing. Has anybody heard of box breathing before? No? It's really, really, really powerful. So as we can see here, the US Navy SEALs, when they're about to go into battle, or when they're doing their training or something that they know is going to be very, very stressful, they do this box breathing and they swear by it. So if it works for the Navy SEALs going into whatever, you know, some sort of military combat, it can certainly work for us when we're stressed about being blocked on Facebook for 30 days or something like that, where, you know, it's not quite the same level as what, you know, soldiers going into battle are facing. So all we do for box breathing is going to breathe in for the count of 4, and then you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you're going to breathe out for 4 seconds, hold the out breath for those 4 seconds, and then start again. Does that make sense? Has everybody got that? So as an example, for me to breathe in, you'd be breathe in, and that will take 4 seconds. And I'm going to hold the breath for 4 seconds. So and then breathe out for 4 seconds. So the out would be, and then keep that out for 4 seconds. And you're going around in this box breathing here, it controls that stress reaction, that fight or flight. So when something's happening, you're not going to react unconsciously as quickly, if that makes sense. It's like you're trying to gain control. You know, if it's an English saying, I don't know if it's a Polish saying as well, is, you know, to hold your breath and count to 10. So it's the same sort of thing where you can implement this, and it brings you back down. So you're up here, you're in rage, you're in stress, whatever it may be, and just using this simple breathing technique, it brings you back down. Is everybody with me, or how do we think? Does that make sense? Yeah. I know I can't see everybody's face, but I'm getting some nods, so that's appreciated. If anybody wants to unmute and ask any questions or anything like that. I feel like I sort of rushed through that, but yeah, sure. Kalina, if you can unmute yourself, or do I do it? Let me see.
Hi.
Hiya.
Yeah. I have one question. If we are breathing, should we do it with open mouth, or is it specific?
It doesn't really matter. I think as long as you're just trying to get control of it.
Okay.
Thanks for your question. I'd do it just. The thing is when you are in stress and say something's happening and you're like, oh my God, like I know I'm losing it here, I'm not acting myself, that ancient reptilian part of my brain is taking over. It's like, if you can remember to do it, then that's the battle won. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter how you do it, but just taking the time to breathe in slowly for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out slowly for 4, and then hold it for 4. By the time you do a few little laps around the box, you know, it really does bring you back down. So honestly, like I think it's absolutely, it sounds too simple to be true. It really, really does, and it's easy to dismiss it. I've got 3 more people waiting to come in here. That's great. I wasn't expecting so. Because I've had problems today with my Facebook, I wasn't expecting so many people. It's really nice to see you all. Yeah, so the box breathing, it's too easy to write it off. You know, breathing can't help me reduce stress, but if you do it enough, and you do it when you feel like you're going to get into stress, it just brings the levels down. It really does. It really works. So to the people that have just joined, I've just gone through quickly. I don't want to keep repeating it in case more people keep coming, we'll never get anywhere. But just gone through a technique called box breathing, which is really good for reducing stress levels. For the oldest part of our brain, which is called the lizard part of the brain, which is right at the top of the spine, the old part of the brain, where the amygdala is, and not the amygdala, it's gone out of my mind, but this is a very primitive reaction to threats that we have. So there's a technique there called box breathing. I'll just share it again on the screen just quickly. Somebody's got the TV on in the background. You can just mute yourself or turn it off. Thank you. So this box breathing, it just slows down that automatic stress response that we have. So that's a great technique, and that's like, I recommend that to anybody when they're having that automatic stress reaction that you can't control. So that's how you calm down this part of the mind, no, the body, sorry. This is when the body is going into stress, and you can't really control it other than trying to control your breathing. It doesn't matter what you're thinking about it. It doesn't matter what your emotions are. You've just got to try and control it with your breathing. So that on its own is very, very powerful. But what I've done is created 3 techniques that you can do in order. So that's the first one. That's the first step. So the first thing that we do is we'd say, right, I know I'm not myself. I'm going to have to do this box breathing, these 4 things. And then we move on from there to relaxing. I say that our emotions are like our spirit energy, really. So from there, we're going to lessen the impact of our emotional reaction, which comes from the second part in the brain. Is everybody with me so far? Let's have some, if people don't want to talk, let's have some activity in the chat, because it's no fun just talking to yourself. Where's my chat? Where's my chat? I'll stop sharing this. Kalina says yes. Ivan gives us a smile. Camilla, I don't know if you just want to mute yourself because I'm getting your television.
Kasten, ściszesz trochę? Po co?
Just mute it. You don't need to turn your TV off. I'll mute everybody. There we go. I'm still getting used to all the controls and that, so thanks for bearing with me. So we've calmed down the reptilian, the oldest part of the brain. Okay. In fact, I think I'll just Google something to show you. So this might help me it to make more sense if it'll load. So this is what I'm talking about. This reptilian part of the brain is the oldest part of the brain, and that's what the breathing works for very well. Okay. So when we hit stress, it's going to affect all of these areas, but with the techniques, a lot of techniques will struggle because they're only targeting one area or the other. Hi Evie, that's fine, no problem. So the first thing we do is the box breathing. It settles down that part of the brain, and then we move on to the mammalian part of the brain in the limbic system with the EFT tapping. Is everybody familiar with EFT? Has anybody tried it before? Yeah? Just let me know in the chat if you have, or if you haven't, if you've never heard of it or anything like that. EFT was something that I discovered 15 years ago, something like that, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. And I was going through a lot of stress and struggle at the time, and this literally just changed everything for me. I was absolutely amazed with it. I love it. I still love it to this day. I think it's fantastic. As a relaxation tool, I think it's probably the best that there is, because you can just use it so quickly and it just brings you down and you just feel that relaxation. So if there's anybody in here that hasn't tried it, if you just let me know in the chat, because I'm getting a lot of nods. I think it's quite popular in Poland, EFT. Kalina, yeah, it's I love it. So that's why I've included it in this, because it's. Did you want to talk? Sorry, Kalina. That's why I've included it in this technique. I've tried to share EFT as much as possible, every opportunity that I can, and I absolutely love it. I think most of you guys know, I think nearly everybody here is from the Polish group, that I've since gone on to do more work with the emotion code. And when I first discovered the emotion code, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to have to, I don't need EFT anymore. But that just isn't true, because they can work together beautifully. Is anybody in here that hasn't used it before? Anybody who's never used it, just let me know in the chat. Or do I assume everybody knows it? This is quite a simple image. The type of EFT I use is one called energy EFT. I know there's different types since it started. I initially qualified through the correspondence course that Gary Craig set up. The Gary Craig, for people who don't know, is the founder of EFT. And then more recently, 2017, I believe, I then qualified. I thought I'll take a different route as well to expand my knowledge. And there's another style called energy EFT. And the biggest differences are that energy EFT uses a point up here. Have you used that point before, Kalina or Dorota? Yeah, originally this point wasn't used in EFT. So there's some different points. It's not on the guide here because this is just an image for copyright and things. Just trying to keep it as simple as possible for people who have never seen it before in this guide. So the EFT I do just the whole body. Yeah, the EFT I've used is just basically up here, and then the third eye. Are you familiar with that point as well? Is that quite common? So for people who don't know, you're just literally going to tap on points that are related to the acupuncture meridians, where these meridians meet the surface of the skin. It's like a little pressure point, and you're just going to tap on them 6 or 7 times. So the first one's the top of the head, then the forehead, and then as we can see in the guide there, on the eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, on the chin. And most of the time I'll just finish on the collarbone. I know there's more points you can do under the arm, fingers, karate chop, and then there are dozens of other points as well, obviously. There's the wrist, there's down near the ankles, there's all sorts of things. But I believe for just simple relaxation, just keeping it as simple as possible, top of the head, down to the collarbone. And that's something that pretty much everybody can remember and just have with them. We're not diving deeply into serious issues and trying to dig deep into things that have happened in the past. We are just literally trying to de-stress. And these points here, the cover, like the 2 main meridians that we have, one runs up the front and one runs from the top lip over the top of the head and all the way back down. And these points here, just making sure that you get those 2 meridians, which pretty much cover all the other points. Evie says, I tried once and my pain in my shoulder that was there for 1.5 years was gone. Oh, brilliant. And then it came back and it was very little and it later disappeared. Yeah, I mean, it's great for pain. A lot of people don't understand how it works, but a lot of people do see that instant sort of wow with EFT, so it's brilliant. So in this technique that I'm calling my BTM method, it's BTM. So the first one's the breathing, the B is for breathing, the T is for tapping. You're just going to literally do the box breathing, and once you feel a shift, once you feel that you've come down a bit, then you start the tapping. So it's about putting it all into one formula. You know, these are all very powerful things on their own, but if we do them in one sequence of the B, the box breathing, the T, the tapping, and then the M, which we're going to discuss next, it's very, very powerful, I believe. And I think that can get pretty much anybody down from stress and anxiety very quickly. And it's just a really great tool and technique to have as you go through life. I mean, most of the planet is struggling with stress and anxiety at the moment, especially in England. We're going back into lockdown. In America, they're waiting on the election. I know there's been a lot of issues in Poland recently, on top of the coronavirus. Just have a drink, sorry. And it's just really great to have this ability to be able to control your stress and anxiety that most people don't have a clue how to do at all. That they haven't got, they just leave it all to chance, or you know, they're going to comfort eat, or they're going to drink too much or do something like that. But these techniques here really control what's going on inside of us, and it's not about using external things like drinking drugs or even like exercise, medication to try and control what's going on inside of us, when we can do it naturally with these things. These are gifts, really. So that's basically the tapping, the tea. Is everybody with me so far? I hope you are. I know this isn't new to everybody, but, and then obviously the aim is to relax the mind. So whether that be meditation or mindfulness, things that a lot of you, I'm sure, are familiar with. Got quite a special bunch in Justina's group who are familiar with these things. It's my sort of goal to introduce these things to people who don't know about it, who certainly don't know about the emotion code, who certainly haven't tried the tapping. And it's my goal to really try and help people who've never tried this stuff before, who they may have tried meditation or mindfulness before, but they may have struggled with those things if their emotions are up here, or if the fight or flight is still active, if that makes sense. And I think that's why this is like a three-prong approach that can really help people. So has anybody heard of the Heart Math Institute in California? Yes, you have, Dorota. I can't see everybody's screen here, but I think it's put me, Kalina, and Dorota at the top because our cameras are on and everybody else is just watching, which is fine. But the Heart Math Institute is a place in America for those who haven't. Kalina says no. So the Heart Math Institute, Kalina, is an institution that studies the heart and what's going on in the heart, and it looks at energy fields, and it's quite progressive. I've got one of the books over there somewhere. Heart coherence, there you go. So Dorota's well aware of this, that basically the organs of the body, they all have a sort of frequency and a vibration and a rate. Obviously, we know that the brain has a reading, and we know that the heart has a beat. And what the Heart Math Institute have discovered is that you can actually train these things to become coherent, so that they are all basically beaten to the same drum, if that makes sense. So as you can see in this chart here, can everybody see this? Yeah, I'm assuming you can see this chart here. Yeah. So as you can see here, your respiration is doing its own thing, and your heart rate is doing its own thing, and the blood pressure rhythm, that's probably the one that you're most familiar with, the heartbeat. They're all independent, doing their own thing most of the time. There's 3 different independent functions of the body. So what they've studied is that you can get in a coherent state, so that they all start, as you can see, they all start becoming coherent, which means that they are all basically in sync with each other, all of the same sort of frequency or vibration. And it's very, very powerful, because that, again, by controlling the heartbeat and the breathing, calms the mind down. And this is just a really powerful thing to do, which can then lead you into some meditation or some mindfulness or whatever your favorite thing may be. And this is like really simple. Again, the way that they do it is called heart-centered breathing. So all you're going to do is just place your hands on your chest like this, and just take some deep breaths, and just focusing your attention around here. It just brings this coherent state into play. So your whole body is going to basically relax and become much more healthier. You name it, the benefits are great. And all you've got to do really is just to place your hands here and just take deep breaths, and just take your time. You're probably going to close your eyes. And just take deep breaths like that. And as you can see here, that once you've hit a sort of a level of no stress, then what we can do is we can add positive emotions to the breathing. Got their elevated emotions, they call them, which is like gratitude and appreciation or joy and love. These emotions up here. If we then add that to the mix, then it's incredible. And they've done all the research. It's really powerful stuff. So what my method is basically to do the box breathing to calm yourself down. It's just putting them all together, really. I mean, it's not really my method. It's just the way this guide is laid out. And it's to do the box breathing first until you're sort of feeling a bit more relaxed. And then the tapping straight away into the tapping all the way down to here. And then as soon as you're done here and you can tell that the tapping has relaxed the emotions, it's just going to heart-centered breathing. And just take deep breaths again. So that's my 3-step sort of. Still no audio, Evie. Is everybody else can hear me all right? I know. I think everybody else can hear me, Evie. I'm sorry if you can't. You're okay. Thanks. Thanks, Eva. Is it Eva or? Yeah, Eva. So that's it. So basically, that is the first thing that when I work with somebody one-to-one, this is the first thing I teach them, because it's just so powerful, and it really is going to bring you from stress back into relaxation. I think, should we just do a quick demonstration, and then if there's any questions? If I just find one thing for the box breathing, you probably find it helpful. Just bear with me a second. So this probably demonstrates it a bit easier to see. So, I mean, I'd actually put my hands here from the beginning to start with that heart coherence, to start the entrainment earlier. Obviously, if you're in real stress, if there's a fight or flight situation, you're not always going to be able to do this. But if you're just feeling like really anxious or worried about something, one time last year, I remember I was getting really I was struggling quite a bit, to be honest. And I just did this, and it just brought me right back down, back to myself. That's the other thing the BTM method means, back to me, back to myself. It brings me back down. So 4 seconds to breathe out and hold. Breathe in for 4 seconds. I mean, I can feel a difference from that. I don't know if anybody agrees or disagrees. I feel a lot more relaxed after that. I think it's really powerful. I know that's not the most interesting video to watch, it's just me breathing, but did anybody else follow along there and try that? I really do feel that yes, it was relaxing, clean it, yeah, honestly. So once you've practiced it a bit, it's handy to have something like this to look at, so you don't have to think about the seconds, you don't have to count. Yes, stop breathing. So where it says hold, sorry, I don't know if I didn't explain that. So breathe out would be breathing out, and then you're holding it for 4. Even you're holding an out breath, if that makes sense. You're holding your lack of air. So the holds 4 seconds, breathing out 4 seconds, hold again 4 seconds. So, and that's why they call it box breathing, because you're just literally just going around the box of breathing in and out and holding. Yeah. So that really does, at a deep level, relaxes stress, relaxes anxiety. It's going to bring you out of this fight or flight mode that I hope you're all familiar with. When I'm saying that you're in fight or flight, it's going to bring you out of that and bring you back into rest and relaxation, where we all should be, rest and relaxation mode, but nearly the whole planet is in fight or flight all the time because of the stresses of modern day life. Even though there's no real threat in front of us, everybody's stressed out and anxious because of works and jobs and emails and money and everything out there, and elections and Facebook and lockdowns and what have you. So this just helps really relax. And then once it was difficult in the beginning to hold for 4 seconds. I forgot a few times, as Dorota, but it's just practice. It's just like everything. I mean, it's literally just, this is why this is a GIF. I mean, all you've got to do is Google box breathing GIF. My screen's in the way. Box breathing GIF, and this comes up every time. And you can just watch it. It's brilliant. So that's the first step. And then as soon as you can feel more relaxed, then go straight into the tapping up here. And what we're going to do is take deep breaths while we're tapping. So I normally take a deep breath in and out again before I move on to the next place. Used to do it with 6 seconds cleaner. Yeah. At the end of the day, as long as you're doing it, somebody's picked 4 seconds. Somebody might pick 5 seconds. I don't know if it's been studied that closely, that it really matters how long it is, but as long as you're doing it, you're bringing yourself back down from stress, and that's the most important thing. So on each tapping point, I'm going to breathe in and back out, and you can actually do box breathing while you're tapping. Yeah, you can actually hold your breath. I just do a deep breath in and out because I've already done my box breathing. And then I do my tapping with the deep breath in and deep breath out, because I don't want to, for me, I don't want to spend too long on each spot. So has everybody got the right places? So it's basically these, but I start at the top and then I do the forehead, deep breath in. Let's do a proper round of tapping, shall we? So we're just going to start at the top, right on the top there. We're going to take a deep breath in and out again. Nice and slow, deep breaths. Then we move on to the third eye spot. Deep breath in and out again. Great. So on the inside of the eyebrow, as you can see there, it's on the very inside of an eyebrow, and you can do it on either side. Deep breath in, or both sides, and out again. side of the eye, on the bone of the eye socket at the side. Deep breath in. And out again. Under the eye on that bone again of the socket. Down there, deep breath in. And out again. Yeah, I mean, I can feel that. I don't know about you. Under the nose on your top lip, deep breath in. And out again. On the chin point underneath your bottom lip, deep breath in. And out again. And then on the collarbone, deep breath in. And out again. So great. And then I go straight here. And then it's just deep breathing, focusing your attention around your heart. Just for as long as you want. And remembering that once you do feel back to yourself, that the stress has gone, to think of love or gratitude or joy or peace. Breathing deeply again. And then obviously if you want to take that into a meditation or something like that, I'm not really a meditation teacher, so I can't really do anything much at the minute. So that's my 3-step sort of thing that I mean, does anybody feel more relaxed from that? Was there anybody a bit anxious and stressed or pissed off today coming into this? I know I was. Like I say, for the people who joined late, I've been banned off Facebook for 30 days, which is frustrating. And I just find those 3 things in that combination are very, very helpful. My back in not that stressed than before. Do you think it helped, Kalina? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel better, great. I mean, like everything, it's all just practice. It's repetition, it's remembering to do it, it's taking the time to do it. I feel my head is very light. I mean, that's great, isn't it? And it's about having, once you have these skills, then it just gives you more confidence, because you know that when things do start to turn bad or to turn stressful, you've got something that you can do. And that's really powerful, because a lot of people don't have anything to do. They don't know what to do. Most people don't have a clue what to do, and it just gets worse and worse. But here you've got something that is practical. I said that we'd have something for you that you could take away from this session that was going to be practical, that could help you when you are in stress or what have you. We can show our friends and family this. We can get kids to do this. You know, I think it's going to be really helpful. We've got a dark winter coming up where a lot of us are going to be locked down, uncertain of the future, uncertain about Christmas and things like that. And it's just nice to have something that you can do just to relax. So I hope you enjoyed that. If there's any questions, I just want to show you something on my phone quickly, which you can all. What I've done is I've put all these into a stop share into an interactive video. So this is a video player, And all I've got to do is just click start there. And it does the box breathing. And you can just do the box breathing for as long as you want. And then when you think, right, that's enough box breathing, I want to move on to the next step, there's a little button there. And it takes a second to load. There's me tapping. So you're all welcome to, I can send you this link, but I can't send you it on Facebook. But I'll give it to Justina. And it just takes you through every step, and you can just have it in your pocket. So if you're stressed out and you think, oh, how do I box breathe? You just open that up and push start. And I mean, I use it. I think it's really handy. I'd love to know. I'd love for some of you guys to try it and just let me know what you think. So if you think it's helpful or anything like that. And yeah, thank you, Kalina. Like I say, I'm trying to get this out to as many people as possible, and I think it can do a lot of potential, a lot of good. So if anybody has any questions, I can unmute. If I can figure out how to do it. Is anybody who wants to speak? Just anybody got any questions? Especially have it on the phone. I mean, because when you're in stress and you know you might be wanting to have a fight, you just push start and just follow along, and it's all there. You don't have to think. That part of the brain where we think, a lot of the blood is rushed out of that area to go into your muscles for a fight. So the less we have to think up here, the better. So like I say, you're all welcome to that, and the guide as well, the PDF. Does anybody have any questions about any of those 3 techniques, or does anybody even want to ask anything about the emotion code or anything like that? I know that's not what we're talking about today. Yeah, can you unmute yourself?
Well, I will try to explain.
Yeah, sure.
I am like in trapped
Emotions.
blockade. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get out from 191 on Hawkins scale.
All right. Yeah.
I can't. So it's like I have been doing quite a lot of stuff with Laura.
Yeah.
Now I had also a couple of small sessions with you, let's say like that. And still I'm like on this point which I can't just move on. And
Okay.
I'm just like trapped somewhere. I'm trying to do a lot of things and actually it doesn't help. So I don't know what it is.
So what would be the goal for you when you're stuck at 191? Like what is it that you actually?
My goal would be.
I think sometimes we get stuck in the figures too much. Do you know what I mean? It's like what I know 200's the level that we all want to get past. We all want to get into that higher level. Does everybody understand what we're talking about, by the way, with the Hawkins scale and the level of consciousness? Obviously not the topic for today's sort of little chat, but I think sometimes we can get sort of hung up on the figures, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like you just want to raise up your state of being. And
yeah, well, my goal is to be more to be more happy, to be more safe, and to be more like going ahead. So I mean, I'm going ahead with a couple of things. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah.
But still, there are so many things. Like I feel like I still have a fear. I still can't go on, and it's something like I was trying also to unlock it with Eileen. It didn't work either. So it's like I'm really trapped with some fields, and I don't know how to get out of it. A little bit frustrating.
How many sessions have you had with me? I'm really bad at putting names with faces because I never get to.
It was quite, it was 3 months ago, I think. So it was like it was hard wall session once, and it was 1 3 points things. and it was also affirmation. So affirmations,
Yeah. Okay.
actually, I'm copying. I'm doing good with affirmations. I'm doing good with kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
still, as I told you, I'm trapped with many things. So it's the same with Eileen. I had 3 sessions with Eileen. It's better, but still with some problems, I'm just going around.
Which problems? What are they?
Well, for example, I have constantly fear about being in a car, like a passenger,
Yeah.
but mostly fear is just driving a car. But both these situations are overwhelming me. So, for example, something like that. So
was there an issue in the car previously, an accident or something, or?
no, actually, I have this feeling. I have this fear since I know actually since I'm adult. Let's say like that. So I always didn't wanna be a driver. I had a driver license, but it was like, okay, it's good to have, but it was never a pleasure to have it.
Right. So there was no major accident or something you remember that stopped you, that gave you this fear of?
Well, I can't remember. We had once, but it was after, so like 5 years after. So I wouldn't connect it together. Maybe it make this fear a little bit stronger, and it made my fear more stronger as I had children. So when I became a family, so it was more
Protective.
strong. Like I was worried about my family, about safety of my family, and so on and so on. But still, it was. I remember that fear, like since I was a teenager or something like that, and we didn't have any horrible accident or something. What could I would say had a big impact on it.
So I don't think it's inherited. It's something that you've had. 36, something around. What? Something up around the 36. How old are you now? If you don't mind me asking.
With 36, let me see. With 36, it was like 9 years. Well, I was pregnant with my daughter, but not actually.
But you had it previously as well. So I mean, that can just be one emotion that's come up.
Well,
it's related to your daughter, obviously protection. Going in the car, there's an element of obviously danger going in a car. So you might have trapped an emotion when you were pregnant, which is then.
I had a lot of bad emotions then, a lot of fears.
Yeah.
I was full of emotions.
Did we do a session just on the driving and things?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I did even with the first one was with you, and then I did one with Eileen, and well, it was better, but still, it's not my it's not my pleasure to driving a car, so it's still hidden somewhere.
It's a balance between we can do a lot with the emotion code.
Yeah.
Tapping as well. You know, you knew tapping, didn't you? So that can really help. But sometimes we just get in a habit of not wanting to do something. Do you know what I mean? And you can say it's fear, or you can say it's you're just uncomfortable doing it. So it's not always about. Sometimes we get great success of releasing emotion, and the problem's completely gone. But sometimes we just get into this routine of being uncomfortable with something, even if the emotions are taken away. So sometimes you've got to just keep forcing yourself to do something.
Yeah, I know. I will try.
Which is easier said than done, but obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
Continue the tapping. I mean, it really helps. I've released that emotion from you there for 36. And yeah, if you want to do another session on that, just let us know. But
Yeah.
You can find it, but at the same point, at the same time, you've still just got to get yourself in that car. Do you know what I mean? It's still like a challenge that we have to overcome in ourselves. I think that, you know, we're ultimately we're put here to overcome challenges and difficulties, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. We have to dig more and more to find it out. So it's really better. So I'm not in the panic that much as before, but still, it's not like I'm encouraged to be a driver. Let's say I like that, even without my family.
It's not pleasurable yet. No.
No, actually, I'm in the point when I think, gosh, it would be really nice to drive, but still I'm like, no, I can't do it. And it's like, probably it's the trapping mind emotion. Like my mind tells me, no, you are not going to do this.
It's easy to not want to do something that you know is going to be uncomfortable. Like, it's easy.
Yeah.
Like at 7:30 tonight, my time. What time is it for you guys now?
It's almost 10.
Almost 10 for you guys, yeah, almost not. At 7:30 for me, I couldn't share this thing on Facebook, so thankfully Justina did for me. And I was like, I'm not doing it. You know, what if nobody turns up? What if I just sit there and, you know, it's easier for me to just sit on this sofa here and watch TV. So there's always that little nagging little thing in your mind, isn't there, that says you don't need to do it. Just don't bother.
Yeah.
But I knew, and I said to Justina, I said, oh, I'm going to make apologies and say no. And then I was like, I knew inside that wasn't the right thing to do. I knew that I need to do this to get better at it, and I need to try and I want to share and I want to help people. And inside I was like, just do it. Like, come on, I know I'm going to have to put myself out there, which I'm not a naturally comfortable person doing this sort of thing. And I knew it was the thing that I needed to do, even though I was being told, oh, don't bother. You've got an excuse. You've got an excuse, Graham. You don't have to do it. So I'm glad that I did do it. And yeah, I hope you found it useful. But if you want to do any more sessions on that, just let us know.
Yeah, but actually now I'm really keen on to know what blocking me to go further with the vibration scale.
With the Hawkins.
That's fine. That's funny, really. Since like after three small sessions with you after the heart wall, it was 158.
Yeah.
And in 2 or 3 months, after doing some stuff, I just came to the 191, and it stopped. Like I was doing constantly something, and still it is on the same level. So, and Laura told me yesterday, well, for sure you have trapped emotions or something what blocking you to go to get over this 200.
Yeah.
It looked like that.
I have a video called Emotions Explained, where we have our emotional level, which is the scale of Hawkins as well. But each of the different areas on the scale, they are states of being. So we are either discouraged, or we're hateful, or we're joyful up here, or we're a bit in the middle. Around here, I'm trying to do it. Around here is about 200. And it's not like we're just stuck on this one level. And the level of consciousness is a sort of different way of thinking about your state of emotional being. So your state of emotional being through the day does this. Yeah. So sometimes you can be up here, but we all have like a sort of an average. Yeah. And like a median sort of band where for 95% of our lives, we'll be in this band, our comfort zone. Sometimes we'll zip up there for maybe an hour or two if something brilliant happens, or we might go too far lower if something bad happens. But generally, we'll have a level that we are comfortable in, and we're just doing this through the levels. Now, in the video, I say, why is it harder to go up here and stay up here than it is when we go down? We always seem to be like anchored back down, don't we? Because we do so many things to try and push us up. Why is it that we're always staying down? And I do a little picture, like magnets of trapped emotions pulling us back down all the time. So it's a level of trapped emotions, and once those trapped emotions aren't there, we can then go up and up. But obviously, we're talking thousands and thousands of emotions at times, to be honest. Because we're all complex people, we've all got thousands of trapped emotions, and even a few sessions is only going to release an amount. Have you ever spoke with Justine about vibrational raising that we do?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to tell you about this. Well, we were discussing about this a couple of times, and I'm a little bit divided because from the one part, I think it's the work we should do alone. So everybody should do it, well, more aware. So I'm going through these phases to reach the vibration, what I feel the best. And doing it this quick, just telling you, just do it this job instead of me. It's like,
see, so you want to keep hold of it, don't you?
Yeah.
Then you've got a belief that says, I want to go through this struggle and this challenge, and I'm going to get past my fear. Something's going to happen, and that's something that obviously you want to go through, and you will go through. So as long as that's what you deep down want, it's going to be true, isn't it?
Okay, so what should I do?
Well,
go through. Yeah, exactly.
If you believe it's a journey that you've got to take on your own, do you know what I mean? Then who am I to say otherwise?
So I am a person who actually like to learn a lot, and that's why I've learned a lot of techniques, and I have quite a big.
Have you read the Emotion Code book?
Yeah, I have.
Are you looking to do it yourself, or?
Well, actually, I am not that far, so I was trying to do it, but I was just in some other studies there. I was doing a recall healing then, so I just stopped one, and just because a lot of stuff in the same time is also not that good, so that's why I had to do my process with recall healing first. And
it takes practice. I mean, the muscle testing. If you've never done that before, I mean, I'd never muscle tested before. I got into the Emotion Code, and I do it all day long now. It takes practice to learn how to do that and to get confident that your muscle testing is correct. So just stick with it. I mean, you've got the option. But
well, I have always still the option to ask you to raise my vibration, but still, I think if you are not aware enough to be on the average, you said, it doesn't bring too much. So I mean, then even if your vibration are rising by you, and you are not taking care of it, and you are not aware how to work with it every day, it means you lose it. So
I think it's more about, I know what you're saying, but I think it's more about the fact that we don't have as many trapped emotions pulling us back down again. So it becomes easier. Do you see what I mean? So if you've got these trapped emotions and we don't deal with them, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
You're going to come back down.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
And that's the beauty of it, because and that's where we do get good results with that sort of vibrational raising. but you know, the option's there. So
Yeah, sure. Got it.
okay.
Message arrived. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
you can always reach out to me or Justine or anything like that.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions about what we've talked about tonight or anything else? And if not, I'll say thank you very much. Did you all enjoy it? Did you learn anything new? I hope you found it helpful. Oh yes, right. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you. I hope you do it. You enjoy it. It's quite a unique class that everybody here. I was trying to get people in off my own sort of world, off my Facebook, to come in and teach them something new. It's quite a unique class where you all know what I do with the emotion code. But yeah, I'll keep trying once my ban is over on Facebook. All right. Thanks very much. Take care, guys. Good night.